How's the ankle feeling?
How's it feeling? It hurts, but it's getting better. So that's the good news. Just day by day, just trying to make sure I'm out there for my guys.
What do you have to do to kind of get ready for the game day, or at least try to get ready?
I think for me, especially if you're not practicing, just mental reps. Everything's mental. For me, I'm used to being out there, getting the actual reps on the practice field. So just making sure I'm in my playbook, and make sure I know where to line up, adjustments, everything. That's the biggest thing. It's lot mentally.
Is there something that has to happen for you, say, or the way you feel about your body, whether it's speed, the cutting, the pain tolerance I know is high.
Mm-hmm.
Just at what point would you say I can't do it if it limits me how?
Yeah, I would say speed, but I would just say more like cutting, stopping, being able to change direction. Because I feel like the position that I play, just the receiver position in general. I mean, everyone thinks it's just run straight, but I think that's the least of my concerns is running straight. It's can I stop? Can I cut? Can I do all the little things, the little movements that you don't even think about when you're out there? That's the biggest thing. So just making sure that I can do those.
How much do you weigh, 1 week versus you getting some extra rest, making sure you're ready for the stretch run the last day?
It's tough because we do get about 10 days of rest after this game, but for us at this point, it's obviously it's a 1 week mentality for us each and every week, but the games just get more important and more important as we get going here, and this is a big one for us against a good team in Dallas who's hot right now, NFC opponent. So this is a big game for us, but I think every game at this point, the next one's always the biggest one. So this is our biggest game of the year. I'm not sure right now, if I'm being honest. Still up in the air. I'm gonna try to be out there for the guys, for my teammates. But I couldn't answer that question right now.
St, does the state of the team and the stakes of the game Thursday night play into your decision at all? Like if you guys were, say, 10-2, would this be a different decision to make than 7-5 facing kind of a must-win game Thursday night?
If you're asking me, no. If you ask, the coaches or the trainers, they'll have a different answer. For me, I want to play every game. That's my mindset each and every year. I don't want to miss any games. To be there for my teammates, to make sure I'm available. Your availability is your best ability at the end of the day. So for me, being out there is the most important thing. Whether we're 0-13 or 13-0, it doesn't matter. So, for me, I got to be out there.
When you limped off last week, did you know that you were probably done? And just how frustrating is it for you to have to watch the rest of that game from the sidelines?
Yeah, it was tough. I didn't know for sure once I limped off. I would say like 10 minutes after I kind of knew because, I've had ankle sprains before, and I was able to come back during the game, but this one, I couldn't, the pain was just too much. It was tough watching the game on the sideline. I don't know how many games I've watched on the sideline or, not being on the field while being here in Detroit, so it's tough. I can feel, I felt the guys through the screen. I felt like I let them down by not being out there. So it was tough watching, but I feel like they played their hearts out. It was amazing to watch, just not being, because I'm used to being there on the field, so just to watch them go out there and fight, it was amazing.
Has there been any appreciable improvement in the way the ankle has felt, say from yesterday to today, and you're hoping that maybe that will continue?
Yeah, every day it's gotten better, so hoping that it continues to get better these next few days. So, but yes, to answer your question, it has gotten better every day.
Take it to Thursday, basically.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think you had one against the Cowboys a couple years ago.
Yep.
Can you just explain how this is different from that one, in terms of how they feel, where it's at, and things like that?
Yeah, so I had one, it was my second year versus the Vikings, actually. That one was a little different, I would say, because like I said, that game I was able to finish. I came out for a series, and I was able to finish the game. This time I just couldn't even really put pressure on the ankle. So two different types of injuries, I would say, but very similar. So for me, it's just continuing to get better each and every day and see if I can make it to game day.
Cowboys had a concussion.
Yeah, that was the concussion, right.
Couple more guys.
If this game was Sunday, would you feel like it'd be a lock that you'd be out there? Like, how different is it Thursday?
Yeah, I think it's a lot different. I think 3 days, especially with the injury that I have, is huge. So it makes it tougher. I mean, we get the 3 days back on the back end, which is a little different. You know, you still get it back, but the game being, you know, Thursday to Thursday makes it. I mean, it's still a week break, but it just each day is so crucial for me at this point. So, like I said, taking it day by day.
Watching from the sideline, how did you see Jameson step up?
He looked great. You know, he looked awesome. I think he's been great all year. Yeah, I mean, we all know J-Mo and his ability. So, I mean, he's a ball of energy. I love being out there with him. So, he looked amazing.
Just one
Last one, yes.
question. You guys have, there's been a whole lot of negative news, I guess, of late, right? You lose the Packers, you get hurt, Frank's comeback is, cut short, Kirby, carrying everything. Does it feel that way to you? Like, there's so much that's been going wrong, and can one win just sort of stop that? Is one win all you guys need to get this thing back on the right track?
I don't know if one win is the answer because we've kind of been winning, losing these past, I don't know how many weeks it's been. So one win, I don't think will be the answer. Would it help? Definitely. But we gotta stack wins. I think that's the biggest thing is stacking wins, especially at this point in the season. So, like for us right now, it's the Cowboys is the most important. So we got to take care of this first. But say we do take care of this game, we just got to be able to continue to build off what we did the week prior and not take steps backwards. So I think that's the biggest thing. But a win would definitely help a lot of things right now.
Hey, JG, just give me a sense. I mean, obviously not really a short turnaround, but you get to face a Dallas team that's been playing pretty well at this point in time. What's the difference with their defense the last 3 games as opposed to the first 6?
Yeah, they're playing really well since the bye. They're playing with a lot of energy. They're playing hard. They're playing fast. It's flying around. Defense is getting better, it seems, every week. And Coach Eberflus got a lot of respect for him and his scheme. And so we'll have to put in some work this week and come out ready to go.
What's the difficulty of having 2 all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber defensive tackles in the center? What's the biggest challenge for an offense?
Hard to plan for just one of them. You got to kind of plan for both of them. They're going to be on opposite sides of the ball typically, and you'd love to be able to say, we're just going to run away from Quinnen, and then you're running right into Kenny, and vice versa. You want to run away from Kenny, and then you got to run into Quinnen. So yeah, there's challenges there, but we've got guys up front that we know can handle that and do that job.
To what extent does this feel like a must-win game? I mean, you guys all said it after the loss to Green Bay. You guys have kind of put yourself in a little bit of a hole.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they all feel that way, and they will feel that way from here on out. The last 5 will all feel must-win, and you say that, but there's a lot of things that can happen, and of course you want to win every game, and we want to win this one. This one's very important, and certainly it's an NFC opponent, a team that's in the playoff hunt, just like we are, and so yeah, it's a very important one, and we want to win.
We know the connection that you and Frank had over the years. Just how much of a roller coaster has this situation with him been?
Yeah, not as much of a roller coaster as it seems outside. I was excited to get him back there for a couple of days, and then obviously fell through with the physical stuff. But he's doing well. I'm happy. He's happy, and in a good place.
We know a lot about his toughness. Can you even fathom how somebody would have a grade 3 hamstring injury and not really know it?
Yeah, his pain tolerance is pretty high. So yeah, he's a special dude.
How do you feel like it went with Tristan first game?
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. His communication was good. His in and out of the huddle he was good with me on the sidelines, talking through all the stuff, and I thought he did a great job.
All right, Aidan, just give me a sense of what it's like this turnaround. Quickly, obviously, you've got a good Dallas team coming in here, and one that is making a push toward the playoffs as well.
Yeah, we have a great opportunity in front of us to bounce back, and we're all looking forward to Thursday. And I think these coaches are going to have us ready. We got to execute the game plan, go out there, play with a lot of energy, and I'm confident in our ability to bounce back, though.
They've scored a lot of points, second most in the league. What makes that offense so efficient, dangerous?
Yeah, I mean, they have a ton of playmakers, ton of good skill players. Dak's playing at a high level. So, yeah, we got to go out there, and we're going to have our hands full. But I think we have all the guys we need to succeed in this building, and everyone believes that. We just got to go out there and execute.
I know the pass rush is paramount every week, but especially this week against that team, that quarterback, those receivers. Just how do you ensure you guys aren't just getting pressure, but getting home on about Thursday night?
Yeah, we just got to finish the plays that that come to us, and that's ultimately the biggest thing. I feel like last game things just weren't quite aligning, just you just need the rush needs to be right, everything needs to be right for that sack to happen, especially with mobile quarterbacks. So yeah, definitely D-line, we got to affect the game on Thursday for sure if we want to win.
When you guys went back and watched the film from last Thursday, what did you like? What did you dislike about your guys' performance?
Talking about as a defense?
Yeah, defensive line in particular.
Defensive line, I think that there was opportunities there, and I thought for the most part we were getting him off the spot and affecting him, but some of those, Liam went free and I wasn't high enough and he squirted out, and then me and Tyleek both went high on it. It was just stuff that felt like it wasn't quite aligning, and a lot of the times when you're rushing fast and playing fast as a D-line, these things kind of just work out, and but it wasn't quite happening for us last game. So we're really putting an emphasis on communication and just kind of togetherness, because really that's ultimately, I've been a part of some really good D-lines, and when that energy is there, it's like you feel like you could do no wrong. If you're going really high, your boy's going to make you right, whatever. But I think we just got to get back to being on the same page, and a lot of that production would be there.
Have you noticed a different level of urgency within this team after that last loss? Have anybody came in and done any different, or just what did you notice from that last game as you enter in this final stretch?
Yeah, I mean, look, we have 5 games left for the regular season, I believe, and we're at a point where it is, there's some adversity for sure, and we call ourselves a gritty team. It's all over this building. It's what people say about us, but I think it's easy to be gritty when you're winning games and it's all sunshine and rainbows. But in these moments, when you're coming off a bad loss to a divisional opponent on Thanksgiving, it's just obviously none of us want that result. How can we come together and still make this season worthy of being remembered, and that's going to be the biggest thing, is taking it week by week, and that's how we attack it, is taking it week by week. And obviously Dallas we're putting 100% focus into this game, and that's kind of the mindset.
How do you manage the challenge of, maybe upping the urgency a little bit, but not playing, not pressing too hard, not playing out of your discipline and things like that?
There's definitely a balance between trying to make plays and forcing it, but I think, it all comes down to doing your job and executing, the role that you've been given. And sometimes if that means getting out of the system, you will, but I think for the most part, if we just stay gap sound, we do our job, we wreak havoc on the quarterback, it's we just got to do our job.
Hutch, what kind of emphasis is there to get this team right within this building before you even look to Dallas?
Can you say it one more time?
Yeah,
get this team right?
Yeah, to fix what's here, what you need to fix before you can even look towards Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the self-scouting is for the past 2 games that we kind of got to do a little bit. Obviously, we couldn't, coming off the short week, we couldn't talk too much about the Giants game, but I think watching that tape was good for us. But again, I think we know we have the talent in this building, so it's just a matter of everybody just doing it on Sundays, and executing at a high level, and we know we're capable of that. I mean, this obviously last year was very successful, a lot of wins. This year it's a little bit different, but I still think we can accomplish everything we want to, and everything's still right in front of us if we just focus on this next one.
Has Tyleek given you any grief over what happened over the weekend?
Oh, yeah, right. He has a little bit. And, they earned it, man. They earned it. I'm happy for him. And that's that. We're moving on.
You're happy for him?
Look, if it could put a smile on his face, it's my teammate. Want him to be happy. Yeah, man. It's just moving on to next year.
I asked Dan this more broadly, but maybe specific to Jared, urgency has just been the word of the week here. We all understand what's at stake.
Sure.
How does urgency show up for Jared in a week like this?
I mean, it's a big week, obviously, considering where we're at. The version of Jared that we get is urgent all the time. And regardless of record or where we're at, what's happening outside the building with other teams, boy, he's a pro and approaches this job as such. He every walkthrough, every meeting, every practice, man, he's really dialed in. And so that urgency is consistent coming from that player.
I know you would never make excuses, and nor would he, but there is a challenge with losing Sam Laporta and potentially losing Amon-Ra St. Brown, or losing him for at least the duration of a game. How difficult is that as a quarterback to lose your top two targets, your favorite targets?
It's difficult, but you go forward. You won't, getting back to our quarterback, you won't hear him complaining. And it's part of the game. It's unfortunate. And but you keep pressing on, and you have to spend more time on the practice field with those players that you really don't have a lot of time on task with, and Jared's done that, which has been good. And we have to be real smart about how we put those players in those positions and give them a chance to succeed. But yeah, obviously it's tough.
Isaac play a bigger role than ever last week, obviously, with St. out. I know he's not under your purview, but from a former quarterback's perspective, what would you appreciate most about throwing to Isaac Tesla?
Everything. He has very good hands, and he's big target, which is huge. It's important to him. He's young. He's going to make mistakes, but out there, he's just a young kid trying to get better and better, and he's learning. He's getting coached very well by Scottie, and the kid's got a bright future. He's a very talented kid, and I think he's only going to get better, and he's not afraid to stick his nose in there, which might be his best quality, meaning block. He's been great, and it'd be fun to see how his career plays out, because I think he's going to be a real good one here for a long time.
Have to rely on J-Mo a little bit more, again, like you did last week. Where have you seen that relationship with him and Goff grow the most, maybe over the past year?
It's a Jared question. But, just, again, getting back to the time on task, J-Mo's, he's explosive, he's dynamic, he's fast, he's got it all. And there's another player that's only going to get better. And the more time those guys spend together, the better it's going to be, much like you see with Jared and Saint. But it's been fun to watch. And he stepped up last week. We'll need him to step up this week, and he certainly can answer the call when it comes to that. He's a great kid, a talented kid. He doesn't even know how good he is, but he's fun to watch, and he's obviously taken a bigger role for us, and probably will on Thursday.
Jared had 5 passes batted down against the Eagles. They said that it was an arm angle.
That's what it was, huh? Arm angle? Yeah, we've been working on that. That's probably my fault. His arm angle was off.
Was there anything?
No. Silly.
I know a lot of things have to go right for a deep shot to even be attempted, but if you look at Jared's stats, his average intended yards are lowest of his career, taking fewer deep shots than pretty much anyone else in the league. Are the opportunities there just not happening, or?
I'm not familiar with the stat. I haven't seen that. Listen, we're always trying to push the ball down the field and take advantage of the secondary and what it is presenting us. And sometimes that doesn't exist. When you have a J-Mo and you have a Leaf and you have guys that can stretch the field and get down the field, you've got Tesla, guys like that. They understand. They'd rather keep everything in front of you, and that's not an excuse. But I can tell you, every week we are looking for what we call explosives, big passes down the field, and sometimes they present themselves, sometimes they don't. But it is something that's important to us, and that we're always in pursuit of.
Does that have have to do with also some of the pressure that he's faced? I mean, interior pressure.
No, I don't think so. I think our quarterback does a very good job versus pressure. Pressure, the way we look at it, is not a bad thing. They could bring 4, 5, 6, or 7. There are opportunities for us, and our quarterback is very poised, and he's very smart in getting us in the right protection. Listen, if you want to bring 5, there's only 6 guys back there. You want to bring 6, there's only 5 guys back there. So please, come on. We love it, with our guys, and our running backs block well. Our offensive line does a good job. Our receivers separate. So, we're going to get some pressure, and we understand why, but we feel very confident when that does happen that our quarterback's going to go to the right place with the ball. I've been real proud of him, how he's handled all of that. He's very poised, gets us in the right play, and has a lot of trust in the guys around him.
Mark, this team hasn't lost back-to-back games in more than 3 years. You've been in the building.
I saw that. That's pretty cool.
You've been in the building for a while now. Been in a lot of buildings around the NFL. What's unique about this one or this team that makes it so resilient after losses?
Well, I think it's not just this team, but it's last year's team and the previous. And I think it starts with our head coach. I think what I appreciate about him is that when we have a tough loss, we watch the tape, we correct the mistakes, and we move on to the next one. And I think he does a very good job of being able to put a loss away and just start going forward to the next one. That's not always the case with some coaches, and at least that's my experience. So I think his approach and has been really good for us. And really it comes down to that. And we have really good guys. We have hardworking guys. It's important to them. They have a lot of pride, and there's a lot of mental toughness there. So all the things you look for, the qualities you look for in a team that really makes a team, our guys possess those qualities, which is great. And it has everything to do with how we can bounce back and why we bounce back from difficult losses.
Thanks, guys.
All right, enjoyed it. Have a good afternoon.
All right, good to be back in the building. Tough last performance. Of course, didn't quite come out the way that we wanted to come out. And, the other piece to it is that, the elephant in the room is, St. did go down. But it did give guys an opportunity to step into roles that they hadn't done. I mean, Tesla had to go into a role that he hadn't practiced at all and kind of got bursted into that role. And then luckily we had TK up for a deal that he really stopped a lot of the leakage in a lot of spots. You just can't see it because it looks like he's playing one position, but he's playing multiple positions. So really appreciative of him. Thought he played really well. And then J-Mo, just really starting to, all of it starting to come together for him. Would like to play 100% game, didn't quite do that. But we know that he's worked really hard to earn our trust more and more. There's been things that come up, of course, like they always do, but we felt like in this offseason that he would start to take that turn. And with St. going down, a guy that I would have to say really stepped in and played at probably one of the highest levels he's played at since I've been here, all around, blocking, down the field, run after catch. I thought J-Mo did a really good job in this game outside of a few plays here and there. So we're just really, really looking forward to getting going this week. One of the things about having, St. in practice is that you do everything kind of directed around him and how you place him and move him. So a lot of our guys, especially TK, allowed a lot of practice time, was able to go in and fill in those spots. But this week, a little bit different because we know that he hadn't practiced as much. Now we can practice multiple people in multiple spots. And it gives us a little bit of flexibility. Unlike the non-flexibility that you have when you're in the game, you have to adjust in game. So looking forward to see some of these guys make a few plays and guys practicing the positions that they're actually going to play at.
Obviously, you would prefer to have St, but is there a silver lining here with Isaac? I mean, that was a quarter of his season snap load, and it seems like experience. There's no better teacher. So how good is this for him to get these extra snaps in these different roles to maybe accelerate the learning curve for him?
I think it does accelerate a lot of things as far as learning is concerned, but one of the things that's the best teacher and experience connected is when you actually are practicing in that role. You're practicing the details, the fundamentals, everything that goes with where you're aligned at, who you're aligned with, and then all of a sudden you get in the game, you actually go out there and you get to do it the way that you practiced it. So this will be a good test for him. We're looking forward to seeing how he comes out and performs. He's as physical as we thought he would be. He's done a lot of things, but now this is the last piece. He has to go out and play and get the experience. There's always, things that we know on the inside from watching practice, and the reason why we bring guys along at the level that we bring them along at, so when they get in the games, they're able to go out and function at a high level.
Saints return is a medical decision, not you, but do you need to see something from him or hear something from him, or how do you sort of decide when he's ready to handle the full workload that he had?
Yeah, he can walk up to me. Thursday at 7:59, and right after we warm up. Right after we come in from warm-ups, and he was like, "I'm ready to go." I think that's plenty of time outside of our inability to change the active-inactive list at that time.
Scottie, Dan was mentioning just the rising confidence that J-Mo seems to be playing with, especially when he has a day like he had last Thursday. In your eyes, how does that confidence manifest itself on the field in his play?
So, yeah, no doubt he's playing at a better level than he's played once he's been here in certain times, but the bridge to greatness is consistency. So we can talk about the confidence part of it. Right now, what we have to drive is the way that you get to the level of greatness is really, you have to get to a point of where every single play is made. Every single block is made. And the reason why we talk about the greats now, if you go back and look at some of those old tapes of the really great receivers, it's hard to even believe that how many plays that, Jerry Rice made like back to back to back, and then games of consecutive greatness. And right now, a lot of times with all the social media and everything that we have, you can kind of create a highlight for your year, even though you don't play collectively the whole year. Well, back then, you had a body of work and people watching it on television, and you had to bring people back and draw them in. So I think he is playing with a lot more confidence. Confidence plus consistency, greatness. That's what we want to see. That's what we need to see, and he's been working really hard at that.
Outside of telling him to maybe get the first down if he catches the ball short of the sticks or whatever, is there anything that you, coach him on after he gets the ball in his hands in terms of where he's trying to go? Like, are you coaching him to look for the end zone every time, no matter where he is?
We're absolutely looking for the end zone, but there are certain paths and angles that you are choosing to get to the end zone. Sometimes when you go lateral for 40 yards and then you go vertical for 10, that's maybe not the angle that we want you to go to the end zone on, but there may not be an angle to go on how we're coaching. But one thing that we talk about after the catch and getting to the end zone, the first thing is ball security. We got to continue to improve his ball security, making sure the ball is on the outside arm. And in a couple of those situations, ball was on the inside arm. If you get the ball on the outside arm, now you can protect yourself with an offhand weapon, which gives you another chance to make someone miss, which will extend the play. So those are the things that we try to focus on, those details that people kind of miss. Oh, he's running the ball. That's a great run. Well, it could have been an even better run. Maybe if we had that ball on the outside arm, person comes in to tackle me in the lower legs, I can get them off my legs and now create maybe 5 to 10 more yards.
Coach, it's not a football question at all, but y'all got the Temptations performing at halftime this Thursday. What do you think about the organization tapping into the history of Motown and just bringing some of these Detroit acts? I know you locked in on your job, but what do you think about that at all?
I love it. I think the only thing is it's starting to cost me even more and more tickets because all of my family members now, once they hear who's performing, my son was definitely fired up last week. Just hearing the Eminem was going to be there, but now we're tapping into Motown. Of course, now uncles, aunts, everybody's lined up. I told them I don't have any halftime passes. Like you come to see the game, but we're really excited, man. But it's a big deal, and not only about the city, but not just here for the people in the city, but the people outside of the city getting to really see what this city is all about, what it was built on, and why it's so special. Why people walk around Detroit with the amount of pride that they have, the amount of style, the amount of swag. It's a long history of greatness here. Thanks, guys.